Hey guys, so as you know, I am pregnant in my third trimester. I asked my friend Erica here today, who's a teacher at YogaWorks in Boston, to show me and all of you at home a quick prenatal flow sequence. So it's gonna be about 10 minutes, right? And what does everybody at home need for this?
If you have a mat, that's great. If you don't have a mat, don't worry about it. You could be on a carpet. I would just be in like a clean area where you can create a little sense of peace. Maybe if you have yoga blocks too, if you have like a blanket or a pillow or a couch cushion, these things are helpful. But if not, if you don't have yoga props, you could use books or something like that. This sequence is pretty basic, a little bit of stretch, a little bit of strength. So yeah. All right, we're gonna actually start seated as we are. You can start with your shins crossed in what's called Sukhasana. And this can get more, you can make it a little more comfortable if you have a block to sit up on, and elevate the hips so that the hips are a little higher than the knees. And then flex your feet, let your knees drop down. Again, if you don't have a block, you could sit on a big book or something like that. So, and then just take, so we want to sit up nice and straight. Good. And take your one hand and rest it on your heart. And then your other hand on your belly, on baby there. And let's close our eyes. And just take a couple of moments here to arrive. So really, this is good for just establishing a connection with yourself, with the breath, and most importantly with the baby. So just taking a couple of moments here to breathe. Start to connect to the breath. Start to feel the inhale as it rises up through the belly, the chest, the throat. And then as you exhale, where can you soften? Where can you release? Noticing a couple more rounds of breath, inhaling, filling up belly, chest, throat. As you exhale, where can you release? Where can you let go? Maybe a little worry, a little stress, a little tension or fear. And then as you inhale, what could you inhale more of? Maybe like a word or an intention. Cultivating a sense of love and peace inside of you, a sense of calm. And as you exhale, where can you let go? What can you soften? One more round of breath like that, inhaling and exhaling. And this is a good meditation for anyone. You don't have to be pregnant. You can do it anywhere, anytime. And go ahead and let your eyes blink open. And good. Let's come on to hands and knees. So, I'm going to have Sarah come onto her hands and her knees here in a tabletop position. And she's going to stack her shoulders right up over her wrists, her hips right up over her knees. And just taking a couple rounds of traditional cat-cow. So she'll drop her belly, she'll soften right behind her heart here, melt this down. And then as you exhale, round the upper back. So really focus on the upper back. A lot of times teachers will cue navel up to spine, but if you're pregnant, you probably don't want to do that as much, but instead press into the upper back. So again, drop the belly, inhale, open, starting to connect with the breath and the movement. Exhale, rounding the upper back, just loosening these muscles between the shoulder blades. And let's just do one more like that. Inhaling, open. And then exhaling, pressing down into the hands, puff up the upper back. Good. Coming back to a neutral spine. Let's go ahead and send your right leg straight back behind you. So she'll flex her toes down, she'll pull her outer hips in, and she'll draw her chest forward. Now, this is perfect here. She's just encouraging a sense of like stability through her core without crunching in or anything like that. If this is enough, stay. If you want to add a little more challenge, she'll send her left arm forward, palm facing forward, in. And then just making a nice long line from fingertips to heel. Take one more deep breath in. And then replace the knee and the hands. Good. Second side, just stretch left leg straight back. Flex your foot down. Outer hip squeeze in. And then again, this is might be plenty for you if you're just starting out, or if you want to add on the balance piece, send the right arm forward. She's just finding a cross-body balance and just, again, encouraging stability through the core, through her back and spine. Take one more breath in. And then exhale, put your hand back down, your knee back down. Tuck your toes under. We'll come into downward facing dog, hips to the sky. So people have tons of opinions, basically, and some people might think that down dog isn't safe. A good rule of thumb is if it feels weird, don't do it. There's no reason to do stuff that feels bad or feels weird. This is a time where you're nourishing your baby, you're cultivating space, you're not pushing yourself. I would suggest getting a little wider in your base than your typical down dog. Yeah. And then just really press down into the hands, lift the hips all the way up and back, and create this nice long space along the sides of your waist. Let your head drop, no tension in the neck, and take about 2 more deep breaths here. And again, if this is a lot, if it doesn't feel good, stay on hands and knees, and you can transition there. And then go ahead and heel toe your feet together to touch. And with an inhale, stretch your right leg long and back. Yeah, flex your foot, spread your toes. You might want to circle the ankle around. Good. Pressing down into the hands, open your hip and the top leg in half. So this is good. She's getting a nice lot of space along her whole hip flexor area, quad, stretch along the belly. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then go ahead, straighten the top leg, square the hips, take an inhale, and step your right foot outside your right hands, lizard pose. Let your back knee come down. And if this is a lot, you could modify. You could put blocks underneath your hands. Sarah's pretty flexible, and she's been moving her whole pregnancy, so she's gonna have probably an easier time with this than some. And then you can hang out here. You can just kind of let your hips get heavy. Just let your neck soften. You can take this as deep as you want to go. You could actually kind of roll to the outer foot. Take your right hand to your right thigh and gently press the thigh away, just loosening up the hips. So I can't attest to this myself, I've never been pregnant, but I'd imagine you feel a lot of tightness through your low back and your hips. Things start to feel funky and weird. So really just creating a little space through the hips and the piriformis and the glutes. Last 2 deep breaths here. So I'd say 5 breaths is good. And again, just connecting to breath, connecting to the baby. And then release the hands back down. Tuck your back toes under. Lift the back knee up. And you always want to have a wide base here. Make room for the baby. So again, if it feels weird, don't do it. Spin your left heel flat, warrior 2. Come on. There you go. Drive the heels. Good. Spine nice and long and straight. So straight. Press down through her heels. Back leg is straight. Her right knee is over her right ankle. Scooping your right tailbone, the right sitting bone under. And then just holding here. So just promoting and building strength through the legs, opening through the hips, space across the pelvis. I can't say it's gonna help her labor because everybody's different, but hopefully it will. And go ahead and reach the right arm up, straighten through your legs. Turn your toes out, and then hands to prayer. Let's come into goddess squat. Bending into the knees. Yeah, and she can get really low. If you aren't quite as low as she is, that's fine.
Depends on the day.
Yeah. So really, again, we're just driving through the heels. We're finding that strong, sensation through the inner legs, that space across the pelvis. And take about 5 deep breaths here. If it starts to burn, you can straighten the legs and come back into it, or you can kind of bear with it. Last 2. And 1. Let's go ahead and straighten the legs. Inhale. Exhale, come back into it. So we'll just pulse like that for 3. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Maybe 4. Exhale. Good. Let's come back to warrior 2, turning your back toes forward. Flip your right hand, reverse your warrior. Stretching along the entire side of the right side of the waist, keeping the legs the same. Good. Cartwheel the hands down, so you want to make the space, so heel toe your foot wide. Cartwheel your hands back, down, flip up the back heel. Good. Downward facing, step back. Good. Pressing down into the palms, reaching the hips up. With an inhale, rise onto your tippy toes. And exhale, lower it back down. Good. Again, like that, inhale, lift the heels. Nice stretch for the backs of the legs, the hamstrings. Exhale, lower down. Go one more time, inhale. Exhale. Let's go ahead and send your left leg long and back. Reach through the heels, spread the toes, and then open the hip and the top leg. Again, getting that nice big stretch through the front of the psoas and the hip flexor, across the belly. Again, you can do this from hands and knees as well to modify. Go ahead and straighten the top leg, inhale, and as you exhale, step lightly outside your left hand, lizard lunge. Let the back knee come down. And again, you can use the blocks, but she probably, if you don't need them, you don't have to, but if you want a little more space, use the blocks. Yeah, and then you can kind of, wiggle your left knee out to the left, press into the left thigh, and just gently, use your own strength to create a little more space through the hips. Hips are heavy.
I get out of breath sometimes.
I would imagine you would. So again, just trying to find a deeper breath here. Last 3. For 2. And 1. Both hands down. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Warrior 2, so spin your back heel flat. Open up. Good, getting as wide as you can. Yeah, nice. Driving through the heels. Find your left sitting bone, scoop it down towards the left heel. Spine is straight, up and down. Yeah. Look over the front hands. Feel the breath as you inhale, lift up into the chest. As you exhale, where can you soften, where can you sink down a little bit? Let's take 2 more breaths like that. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Go ahead and straighten both of your legs. Turn the toes out. Reach up. Shorten up the stance a little bit. And then hands to prayer. Come back into the goddess squat. Again. Yeah. Chest up. Knees track in line with the toes. Again, just getting nice and deep there. And then let's just add a little shoulder stretch. So take your hands onto the hips. Or not, these aren't hips. Your quads. Lift your shoulders up. And sink into your pelvis a little bit more. Yeah. Like you're like waiting in the outfield or something for, I don't know. Yeah. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, dip the right shoulder down and look over the left shoulder. Just getting a nice twist through her shoulder blades here. Good. Again, inhale, shoulders up, shoulders shrug up. And then exhale, dip the left shoulder down. One more of each. I think Sarah thinks that feels good too.
So is balance.
Good. One more time. Inhale. Left shoulder down. Twist. Good. Back to center. Arms straight, legs straight. Reach up. Back to warrior 2. Bending into the left knee. Flip your left hand and reverse. Tip back. Stretch into the left waist. Keep bending into left knee. How much space can you make along the entire left side of the waist? And then cartwheel the hands down. And again, make the space for the baby, so don't crush it. Hands inside, downward facing. And again, feel free to come back to table instead. Good, inhale, rise onto the tippy toes. Exhale, lower the heels down. Inhale, lift the heels up. Exhale, lower them down. One more time, inhale, lift the heels up and lower down. Go. Drop your knees, come into child's pose. So toes together, knees wide, obviously, for this one. Walk your hands way forward. Feels nice to put a block underneath your forehead, even if you don't typically do that. Yeah, get your hips nice and heavy. If you have, this is where you might want to put like blankets underneath your kind of underneath your hips here. If your hips are at high, Sarah doesn't need that, but if your hips were high off your heels, put a blanket between the shins, like, you let the hips be heavy, side body long, and don't rush, you know, just use this time to be here and to breathe. You know, you could pause the video and stay longer if this feels nice. Last two. Let's go ahead and walk our hands up. So we're just gonna sit down, so cross your ankles. Whoop. Come all the way through, yeah. Coming into Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together. Knees drop open. Grab your ankles. So this is one where, you know, you'll see this in a lot of different yoga classes, but you don't need to focus on folding forward, but maybe just creating a little more length through the low spine, and then gently sending your heart forward just a little bit. Let your head drop.
This stretch feels so good.
Good.
I do this all the time.
Yeah. So again, like a lot of times we like want to get down to the ground, but this isn't about that so much. It's really just about creating some length in the low spine. So think about drawing your heart a little more forward to create this length here in the low spine, low sacrum region, in the hips. And if you have somebody to help you, they might want to give you a little massage here, a little bit of touch. Take about 2 more deep breaths. And then come on up. And so for our final pose, I want to set you up in Supta Baddha Konasana. So what does that mean? So if you have a couple of pillows, or if you have a bolster, that's amazing. But most of us, I don't even have a bolster at home, and I'm a yoga teacher.
You know, it's like a bolster, pregnancy pillows.
Oh yeah.
A pregnancy pillow, so they could use
That would be perfect. So a pregnancy pillow, this is kind of like a makeshift yoga mat bolster. So move forward just a touch. Just gonna set her up, soles of the feet together. You'll put the bolster right at the base of your spine, and then you'll lie back on it. Good. And then a couple of blocks or blankets. Could be like, here, lift your head, like a pillow. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Good. Arms could outstretch side to side. If you have more blocks, if this is too much, you could slide blocks underneath the thighs. It looks like, Sarah, you're pretty comfortable there.
I am.
So this is a nice place to come and rest. It's like heaven for anyone, but especially I think if you're pregnant. Mm-hmm. And so just close your eyes and be here. You know, take a couple of minutes out of your day to come into this and give yourself and your baby a little bit of love and nourishment, and create that sense of peace and calm and stillness inside, because they're living in that. They're living in that space. So you want it to be happy. Good.
So thank you, Erica, so much. I feel immediately more at zen. Yoga is something that's so important to do, I think, for all mothers to be. And I know you must get a lot of moms in your classes, and you can still go to a regular class, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And we have another video to show you guys some modifications that you can take. So if you just did this video and you loved it, but you want a longer class, go and check out that video featuring Erica and myself as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Let us know what you thought down below, and we'll see you soon.